Hello there. Welcome to class. I'm Miss Faust. Welcome, welcome. Please make sure that you have paper handy and a pen or pencil. We're going to have a review. Remember, this class is called Critical Reading. Okay? And I've shared with you 4 strategies. 4 reading strategies. Or I should say 4 comprehension / reading strategies, because we're talking about comprehension as in understanding, and then of course reading. And those were, let's start from the beginning of the school year. We're talking making inferences, right? Predicting or making predictions, summarizing, and questioning. We're going to have one more before the end of the school year. Now, as I said, this is a review. Now keep in mind, folks, we tend to forget because time just seems to fly, and before you know it's like, quick, we got to review, and whoa, big test. At the end of May, we will be having a final test. Okay, so please remember that. So we're preparing because you never know what could be on that test. Okay, and just keep in mind, critical reading. Always keep in mind, it's all about reading critically, even if that means a test paper, as in trying to understand the directions, the instructions. You got to be able to read critically. You got to be able to think it out. You got to make inferences. And when we talk about inferences, making inferences, what are we actually talking about? We're talking about what? Here it comes. Please make sure, in case you can't find your notes or you forgot to take those notes. After all, there are videos on the various inferences, various strategies. Oh boy, lots of inferences, huh? So there are videos, and you should have notes. So look back at your notes. You're going to need your notes for today's assignment, okay? But if you're sitting there going, I don't think I have my notes. I don't know where I put them and what video had this, and this. So please jot down a few words for each of these strategies. Again, 4 strategies. Okay. So when we're talking about making inferences, we're talking about making educated guesses. And making inference can start right from the beginning. Could be just the title of a passage. Could be the first line of the passage. You look at the title and you wonder, you try to make an educated guess about what that article, what that passage, what that poem, whatever the piece is, what it's about. That's what making inferences is all about. It is making educated guesses. Okay? So does that make sense? Okay. When we're talking about predicting, we're talking, or making predictions, we're talking about trying to foresee. It's like foretelling. Like fortune tellers can tell you your future. You give them the palm of your hand, and they look at it and go, oh, there's this line that says you're going to have a long life. Oh, wait. This line says, ooh, you're going to have 7 children. Yeah, that kind of a thing. Okay? It's foretelling. When you are predicting, you may look at a title. You tend to look at least the first sentence or 2 of the reading material, of the reading piece, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. In other words, real, like an autobiography. Okay? You look at it and you read and you start thinking, this is talking about the mother's stern look. Okay, I'm going to say that we're going to read about what kind of a woman she really is, how she treats this little girl. That she's a really tough woman. Okay? Doesn't have a soft spot. She's just tough. Okay? That's what prediction's about. Predicting is about. Trying to foresee what is going to happen next. Okay? So that first line, that second line, or we should say the first 2 lines, that's even better. The first 2 lines can help you to foresee what's going to happen down the road. Okay, so you look at clues. Okay. Right. When we talk about the third strategy, when we're talking summarizing, and that's a great strategy to use no matter what class you're in, whether you're in a biology class, a health class, a world history class, for that matter, even an algebra class. So it's not just English classes, literature, or, having to do with grammar and the like. When you summarize, you're looking for key ideas, the key points. You just read this passage of 15 sentences. What's it all about? Okay? So when you summarize, you take that long passage, let's pretend it's 15 sentences, and you shrink it. You get it down to that. Because you're pulling out the key points. What is that writer trying to tell you? What's the highlight of that paragraph of 15 sentences? Your summary should not be 9-10 sentences. Okay? If you have maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs, we could manage many more sentences than 3, 4, 5. Okay? It could happen. Again, the paragraphs, it depends on the paragraphs. How much meat there is. Okay? So when you summarize, you're looking for key ideas. And make sure your summary isn't longer than what you're trying to summarize. And it's a fantastic critical skill to use. So when you are reading, not just for my class, but especially in my classes, okay? Please use inferences. Please try to predict. A lot of times prediction is based on your own experiences, your prior knowledge, what you know from the past. Use summarizing. When you're reading a passage, when you're reading a story or a poem, try to summarize it. Can you put it in your own words? What that poet is trying to say. Okay. Then finally, when we talk about questioning, obviously it's about questions. Yes, you ask yourselves questions as you are reading. You're reading and it says the bird flew away. And you're going to say, I wonder why the bird flew away. What happened here? Hopefully the next sentence or 2 or 3 will explain to you why the bird flew away. The dog came running, saw the bird, was ready to attack. Okay, so yes, you ask yourselves questions, even with just the title. The title is Bird. You say to yourself, wow, I wonder what they're going to talk about. Is it about a bird breed? Or is it a little story about the bird? You start asking yourself questions. Okay? Again, it helps you to think critically. So critical reading isn't just, okay, we're going to read this poem. Miss Foss is going to go over it. Oh, essay. Moving on. While you're reading, you should be using those strategies. Okay? Start with my class. Start using those strategies. Start. And then continue using them in all your classes. And in the future, especially in higher levels, you will need to use strategies. Okay? It's going to get tougher, not easier. Sorry. So use those strategies as you move on in, in your education. Use the strategies. Well, now that we had that review, guess what? I hope you took notes. Because you're going to need this information for today's assignment. Like I said, it's a review. Here we go. Hold on. Let me get a marker and a board. Here we are. So, today is day 1, having to do with the comprehension reading strategies. I went through all 4. Making inferences, predicting, summarizing, and questioning. Okay? Now, you're going to apply that information to your assignment. So, assignment here is I want you to choose one strategy, just one of these 4. And I want you to apply that strategy to Thurber's story. Remember James Thurber? Oh, how we forgot him already. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Poor Walter Mitty. Poor Walter in his fantasy world. Dreaming. So it was Pleasant dreams, huh? So heroic. Yes. Well, apply the strategy, whatever strategy you have chosen, to his story. Okay? But you apply the strategy after defining your the strategy. Okay? So if you decide to use questioning, you need to present to me what questioning means. Okay? Don't just say, ask questions. Yeah, about what? How? Can you give me an example? Okay. So that's what we have. Choose one strategy and apply to Thurber's story. In other words, Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Okay? But only after defining the strategy. So I need to see that first. So here's your procedure. Make sure you put a pause. Here's the procedure. I need you to define. Sounds like I just said that, didn't I? Yeah, it's good. Okay. Define chosen strategy. Give me the definition. Okay. Then explain how the strategy can be used in the story by presenting examples from the story. How can I use questioning? How can I use summarizing in Thurber's story? Explain to me. How do I do it? Give me examples. This is exactly what I'm looking for. By presenting examples from the story. Don't just write, for example, inference. You define inference and then you say, well, you can use inference by looking at the title and by looking at the title. What about the title? What is that supposed to tell me? What kind of guess can I make about the title? Okay. So here's an example. How can questioning be used? Give it specific examples. In other words, actual questions. What, if you use that technique, that strategy, what questions could we come up with? Remember, this is critical reading class. Titles are so important, folks. If nothing else, you get nothing else out of this class other than titles. Yes, the title is important. That's the first thing you look at and you start wondering. Okay? First thing. That's where you start critically thinking. What does this mean? What about the secret life? What do we mean with the secret life? Does he have a second family? Does he switch back and forth between families? Okay, that kind of a thing. All right, so explain how the strategy can be used in the story by presenting examples. Okay? Give it specific examples, actual questions. And I want you to use regular, as I wrote down here, regular lined white paper. So yes, use your lined paper. Okay? Does that make sense? And even more so, you could put a title at the top, put perhaps questioning, summarizing, however you want to do that. Does that make sense? So let's do this again. Here's your assignment. Any questions? Nope. All right. But I do want to leave you with one, namely the daily question. Do you like watching movies on TV or in the theater? In other words, a movie theater. You know, like Harkins, okay? Do you like watching movies on TV or in the theater? Where do you prefer to go? Okay. All right. If you do happen to come up with a question regarding this assignment, please contact me. Again, this is a review of those strategies, and it is day 1. I don't know what we're going to do next. We'll see. Nah, I do. I'm going to leave you with a teaser. It's about the strategy. Yeah. So remember, it is due today. So please, as soon as you're done, send it to me today. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Till next time, bye-bye.